FMU, you're on the air.
Hi, is this Tom?
Yes, it is.
Tom, my name is Mike Ruggles.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So depressed.
Over what? What's wrong, Mike?
XFL.
You're depressed over what? About the game being canceled?
The league being... Well, how would you feel if your whole reason for living was...
Can you speak up, Mike?
How would you feel if your whole reason for living was pulled away?
But what was your whole reason for... The XFL was your reason for living?
Me and many others.
I don't know. I think you...
I'm sorry, I've been drinking. We just feel betrayed.
Oh, I'm kind of confused. You feel betrayed of what? The football?
By McMahon, by Vince McMahon.
Because he canceled the XFL?
If I ever see him on the street,
he
better lay down because he's dead.
Because the XFL turned out to be a flop.
It wouldn't have been a flop if he'd let it go longer.
I got to disagree with you on that. I think it was definitely. I think the writing was on the wall from game one.
Did you see that play though? They were so good. It was hard hitting, action packed.
But it really wasn't, though, was it? I mean, you think it was hard? It was action packed.
Of course it was. Vince McMahon would never give us anything less.
Well, I think he did give you less.
You're wrong.
Okay, so what...
I spent all my money on XFL merchandise. Hats, T-shirts, jackets for each team. I had full sets of everything for each team, and now I'm destitute. I had to sell my Boltmobile.
Your what mobile?
My Boltmobile. I had a Birmingham Bolt car specially made.
Where are you calling from, if I can just...
I'm in Ohio. Westerville, Ohio.
So the Birmingham Bolts... But the Birmingham... You're not from Birmingham, though.
No, but I love the league. I thought they were the coolest team. I loved all the teams equally, actually. It's like they were my children. I couldn't really pick a favorite, but I liked the Birmingham Bolts helmet, so I had a VW Bug turned into a Boltmobile.
Well, that's kind of
$30,000. I had to sell it.
You sold it because of all the... Because you just... Well, what did you think you were going to get from spending that much money?
Well, my plan was, in like a year or two when the expansion teams would come in, like the Seattle Grunge and the Philadelphia Rockies, I was going to go up to Western Maine where they were going to have that team, the Western Maine Crabmen, and I was going to start a museum up there, the XFL Museum, and I was going to be Mr. XFL.
But I first of all, I didn't know anything about expansion teams. Like, who was it? The Seattle what?
There was the Seattle Grunge. They were going to be in, I think, in like 2002, and the Western Maine Crabmen were going to be in 2002 also, and the next year was going to be the Cleveland Disease and the Philadelphia Rockies, ROCKYS.
You mean like as in the boxer?
Like the movie.
Yeah.
The superhero.
Where did you find out about these expansion squads?
I subscribed to an email newsletter.
And this is all true? I mean, that they were going to be...
Why would someone lie about that?
I don't know. Well, it's news to me. It's news I'm not familiar with. So
all I know is that I don't have any money anymore. My ex-family left me.
Your ex-family?
Yeah, I quit my job as a welder. I just haven't felt like working or bathing or eating since I heard the news. What the first problem between my wife and I was that I renamed my kids.
Mm-hmm. What did you rename your
My
kids?
son, his original name was Thomas Herbert Ruggles, and I renamed him Dontel Marcus Ruggles, after Dontel Marcus, who plays for the Enforcers in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And my little daughter, miss her, Stacy Ann Ruggles, I renamed her Michael Foxworth Ruggles, after Memphis Maniacs running back Mike Foxworth. I had to fight my wife really hard to get those names changed.
Hold on a second, caller. There's some... I don't have a key, I'm sorry. I'm on the air right now, sir. I'm talking on the air.
What's going on over there? Are you still there? Are you still there?
I'm here. There was a guy yelling.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. There's somebody yelling in the back who's...
Well, let me just say there was a lot of yelling at our house when I brought that up to my wife, getting the names changed.
Uh-huh.
That was just the beginning of it. I sold my kids clothes to buy new merchandise every week. She was also jealous of the time I spent corresponding with the XFL cheerleaders.
You took it upon yourself to talk to the cheerleaders?
Well, no, I didn't really talk to them until they'd actually come through town. My brother, he's got this gentleman's club called Quasars here in Columbus.
Uh-huh.
And I'd go and sometimes meet some of those girls when they'd come through, because they sometimes have other jobs too, like dancing.
Uh-huh.
So I'd meet them there, but I usually just correspond with them.
Well, what did corresponding entail?
Mailing stuff to them.
Okay. Like what kind of stuff?
I don't want to get into this right now.
Well, you're into it. Why don't you tell us?
Briefs.
Briefs?
Briefs.
I can't understand you. What word?
Briefs.
Briefs.
Undies.
Whose undies?
Mine.
Why would you send your underwear to anyone?
Because I thought they'd think it was hot.
But see, these things I don't think you can pin on the XFL, though.
Well, I wouldn't have known about these girls unless I'd seen them on the TV during games.
But that's no invitation for you to kind of
Did you
become
see the way they were moving?
Uh-huh. I saw a lot of the games, and the cheerleaders they kind of looked, like
an open invitation.
See, but that's you reading into it. I don't think it's an open invitation for...
I could have sworn I heard one cheerleader for the Memphis Maniacs mouth my name to the camera.
You're completely reading into it.
You're wrong.
I'm pretty sure they were not mouthing your name.
Well, anyway, so I'm totally screwed. I'm a musician, too. I used to be in this band called the Kent Thompson Band.
Uh-huh.
We had a single out in '85 called Love or Don't.
Okay.
I've been working on this record of XFL songs. It's called the XFL Rock Album. I wrote all these songs.
And you were working on this not with the league or with the league?
Eventually I was going to play them the finished tracks, and I just assumed that they'd put it out.
Uh-huh.
Spent $45,000 on it.
Why would you do that, though?
Just because, I wanted to share my love of the league, and I just had this streak of creativity, and I came up with these great songs. One's called Extreme Teams.
Uh-huh.
One's called Men of Iron. The best song was called We Love You, He Hate Me.
See, I think you showed
I also had a rap song called You Demand, Big Merc.
I'm really sorry that you put as much of your time and money and...
It gets worse, though.
I don't know if I can handle it.
I was planning on starring in XFL movies.
You were planning on starring in the movies?
Because I'd be Mr. XFL, sort of like the face of the XFL, you know?
Uh-huh.
I wrote 4 movies already.
But again, I think you took it. What made you invest this much of yourself into something that you were not?
Haven't you ever been just touched by something to your very core?
Well, not by something that wasn't mine like that.
But the XFL was yours. It was all of ours. It was for all of us.
But it really wasn't, though, was it?
It sure was. So, do you want to hear about the movies?
Why not?
One of them's called XFL Madness.
Uh-huh.
And it's about these 2 guys who drive from Las Vegas to New Jersey so they can meet the hitman quarterback Charles Pulari.
Okay.
They also pick up a pet cobra on the way. And one of them gets murdered, too.
But that doesn't seem like something that anybody would want to watch.
Well, how about this one? Gridiron Glory. It's about the Seattle Grunge expansion team and their valiant bid for the 2002 McMahon Cup, and also their coach's battle against Alzheimer's.
That sounds horrible.
Oh, well, wait. There's also, I wrote in a part for Adam Sandler as a bumbling water boy.
But he already has played a water boy in a movie.
Wait, my movie didn't get made yet.
But he already was a water boy in a movie called Water Boy.
No, he's not. He's Opera Man.
He was Opera Man on Saturday Night Live, but he did a movie called The Water Boy.
Oh, jeez. Well, how about this one? President Football.
What's that about?
Well, it's the president of the USA, and he gets drafted by the Las Vegas Outlaws. And then he becomes the star quarterback. And he's also trying to avert a nuclear war with Spain.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that doesn't sound good, though.
What about this one? Locker Room Lust.
I don't know if I can handle many more of these.
Locker Room Lust is a porno film about some of the players having sex with all of the cheerleaders and each other.
But that's like was that just a porno movie?
Well, you know, you got to appeal to all kinds of people.
That doesn't sound like it really appeals to anybody other than somebody who would want to watch just any porno movie, though.
So?
That sounds horrible.
Well, maybe this will turn you around. I wrote a poem about the XFL, okay?
Okay.
Here it is. See if I can get through without crying. You gridiron warriors with your helmets and pads showed us a way to live and love that we never knew we had. From Memphis to Los Angeles, your flames glowed bright. You gave us a reason to live every Saturday night. The ladies on the sideline so pretty and sweet. The way you strut back and forth, you look good enough to eat. The play on the field was hard-hitting and fast. I know deep down in my heart that the league was meant to last. I will fight for your return, dear league of mine. On this I do promise. For if you do not come back to thrill us with your play, me and millions like me will lay down in our graves.
That's terrible. Why would you lay in your grave for something that somebody else was just trying to get rich on? That doesn't have a whole lot to do with you.
Don't put down Mr. McMahon.
But you just said he would be dead if you,
I was in the heat of passion, though. He's sort of like my dad.
I think
he's sort of like your dad, too.
I think your problems run deeper than this,
You don't know me.
I know people like you, though.
Do you have any email addresses for them?
For who?
Those people like me.
No, you know you're really spooking me out here.
Can you do me one last favor?
What's that?
Play a song for me.
What song?
Play my song Extreme Teams.
What is that on a record or something?
Do you have it?
Well, what's the name of the group?
It's me.
What's your name again?
Mike Ruggles.
Mike?
Mike Ruggles Band.
Mike, I'm going to go check in the library.
If you don't have that, can you play Athena by The Who?
I probably can't now.
Well, geez.
You're scaring me.
I want everybody to pray for the return of the league.
Okay, Mike. Well, you hang in there. You sound completely sad.
Can I call you again?
No.
At home?
No.
Tomorrow?
No.
Tonight?
No.
When?
Don't. All right, Mike?
Goodbye.
Bye. All right, hey, that was completely horrifying.